Hey, partner in crime.
Hey,
I don't think we'll ever run out of topics to discuss. But is there something in particular that's coming up for you that you would like to start out with today?
yes, it's something I've been thinking about. I'm so tired. I've taken so many courses. I've been in therapy for so long. I'm tired of going over the same things. That's that as a subject.
Mm-hmm. I love.
And yeah, and I think that hits everyone that when we go into our small self, like, why do I have to keep doing this? And it keeps coming, it's coming up again. It's going to keep coming up until it doesn't come up anymore. It doesn't mean I haven't cracked the nut. It's just taking cuts at what's around it so that we can get to the jewels inside. It's like a diamond, finding diamonds. But we don't just find diamonds. Now we have a diamond. We have to take a lot of cuts.
I
So
want to share this insight with you, and I'm trying to get to this place, and it's exactly what we're talking about here. This has been hit with me for quite some time now. This concept that A, we're never done, and B, we're supposed to be, we are supposed to stay present and be comforted and comfortable in the present. How do we reconcile those two?
yeah,
If we're never done and we're always supposed to be healing and always supposed to be working on something, how do we reconcile that with being present? That's a really interesting question for me because I feel like we can do both and, but how do we help someone who is in that pickle, who feels like just exactly what you're talking about, constantly searching for that new course or
I
that
just want to be
nugget.
done. I just want to be done. I just want to have the answers. I've been working out. It's just, I am tired. It's how they're looking at it. It's how, in order to move through it, a different way of looking at it has to
Yeah,
occur.
but don't you think that yes, it's how they're looking at it, but it's a part of them that's looking at it. There's also a part of them that is constantly excited and striving for something new and
Yeah.
loving the epiphanies that they get. So don't you think that's really more of an inner battle that's going on?
Yes.
And it doesn't help that there are all these marketing tools out there designed using neuroscience designed to get us to move. I mean, there's so many. I really resist the idea of, of like, oh, we're closing out the course is ending, last chance, you've got 4 hours left to sign up. I hate that stuff. And yet it works. And it works because it's neurologically based. It's no different than fear-based, there's a fear associated with that we're acting on their biggest and most vulnerable space when we push for those kinds of things. It's a real tangible issue that we face. And for me, what you and I have been just, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, brilliant about pointing out is the noticing of this, the
Yeah.
awareness of it, and deciding, okay, all right, I get to indulge and maybe even respect that part that is sick and tired and doesn't want to do it anymore and wants to just be. And
Take
that's
a
a
rest.
part, isn't that? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
take a rest, take some space,
Yeah.
because you are going to come back to it.
Hmm.
Will the presence will bring it up again. It just does. It's the way it works. So it's all, yeah. And it's how it's all there's so many things to it. There's so many things that could be a topic because there's so many, once you're feeling better because you're doing something and someone goes, "What are you doing that you're feeling better?" You're probably doing eight different things. You're probably not doing one thing. Well, I tried this and then I'm doing that. I'm talking to this one, I'm doing that. there's layers of it. And so as from taking another course, there's so many courses offered. Yeah. Take what you're attracted to. If you can, if you're lucky enough that you can, listen to this and then listen to that and let, without but people make themselves crazy with it too, instead of like, well, I'm attracted to this. I'm going to keep on going with this, but I don't know. It can get really complicated in their minds.
Let's talk for a minute about the crazy. What's actually happening inside of us when we go crazy? When we go crazy, let's just say for food, we go crazy, all of a sudden we're spiraling down. Now is a time energetically, I believe, where everyone on the planet is pushing us to change, to have New Year's resolutions, to get on a diet, to start moving, to better ourselves, to set some goals, to change our habits. We're getting all of this push, and there's an energy associated with it. Why fight the current is my feeling. But the aspect of it that is challenging is okay, when I stumble, when I trip, when I face plant, what's going to happen to me at that point? Am I going to succumb to the inner dialogue that is horribilizing? Am I going to notice, wow, that just happened? Can we get to that place? That's a neurological shift and a behavioral shift that you and I talk about all the time. Because that's what somebody was just talking to me today about, well, I've got this really great program. It's really working for me. I'm super excited. I've released some weight. I'm really happy right now, but I'm wondering when it's going to stop.
Right. There's all those taglines. I mean, in terms of topics, we've got all those taglines. I just want to eat I just want to be a normal person. When is the other shoe gonna fall? I mean, these are all things to process through and continuously process through, but kind of we get to the point where we can hear it, we can notice it, and we can like, oh, I'm doing that now. And I need to look at that in another way. But that doesn't come overnight. That comes with practice. But there's so many topics like that. I'm just waiting for the other shoe. I don't want to get excited because I've been here before and I've failed. And that another one is like starting over again. You're not starting over again. You've got wisdom in there that you can pull up and use. You're just turning the volume down or turning the volume up, depends on what it is you need.
Right. Leveling out the tsunami to something that's more manageable. Leveling out the valleys and the mountaintops and the differences between them. That doesn't mean though, this is an aspect that when I get passionate about something, I just want to dive in, as you know. I just want to dive in with both feet and jump in and not even bother trying to even take a deep breath before I start. I love that feeling, and I don't want to minimize it. How do we respect those inner parts of us that are passionate about this or that or the other, either passionate about keeping us from doing something by face planning, as encouraging us to face plant, or is passionately trying desperately to organize better or be more of a perfectionist? How do we I look at this as an opportunity to respect the voice that's coming and to recognize that, yeah, I hear you. Many times we just want to be heard. And those parts of us just want to be heard. And once they're heard, they relax. That's been my experience.
Well, they're heard because we're noticing it and we're talking about what we're noticing.
Right.
It begins with noticing. Oh, look what I'm saying. It's like me lying in bed. I'm going, wow, this is blended. I'm watching myself be blended.
Right. And I feel like that very aspect of noticing is respecting. because
coming
you're
from a different, it's not coming from, oh my God, da 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 da. It's coming when you're noticing it's coming. You are now, it's that Eckhart Tolle thing. As soon as you know you're in your small self, you're not in your small self anymore.
your ego, your
Yeah.
your
Your
id,
ego. You're not,
your
but we don't notice we're in it. It's the
and
truth. This is where we
yes,
are, and we want to close out.
yes,
Distinguishing that. That's what we've seen.
yes.
That's the successes we've seen in front of our very eyes for ourselves. And we've seen it. We have evidence of that can be that can be overcome with noticing, trusting, resonance, although, those four things.
Connection and action. Yes. And I guess what I'm trying to say, and I may be getting my point across and beating a dead horse here, but I do think that our go-to in the past has been to push through it and resist the urges to do whatever it is that our parts want us to do, but we know is counter to our health. So when we're on a diet, we're strictly following that diet. We're not veering from it. We're clear that we can't break a single rule. And so we resist anytime we've got that push. And I believe that's no different than saying to that part that is saying, wait a minute, you need to pause here for a second. We're disrespecting them, and we're also not giving them their due in being heard. And we're also pushing them to the side. And that whole concept of alarmed aloneness is in there, because that part then feels alone and rejected. And if we pause and notice, we're actually honoring the sounds that are coming from our heads. We're noticing the voices that are disparate. We're noticing the different pushes and pulls that we have, behavioral and emotional and whatever, psychological, whatever. We're noticing these things, and we're able to give them the respect of saying, oh, wow, I just heard that. That's really interesting. I'm really curious about that. Why am I feeling this way? That to me is honoring. And it's not just honoring of our authentic self. It's honoring of all of the voices that are inside of us that have brought us to this point. We don't need to listen to them or do what they say. Now I take that back. We don't need to do what they say, but listening to them doesn't mean we have to do that thing. All that means is that we're honoring them. And that's what I feel like, that's the nuance of it. And I've been trying to put my finger on it for a while. The reason why noticing really is an action. It's like we're going into a meeting and allowing all of the voices to be heard.
I get what you're saying. You're calming that the voices, the judgment we have about ourselves when we're saying these, that when we're running on those voices. It's, for me, it's just a little different. It's once you're noticing, you're not in those voices anymore.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
those, you are connected to your center. And that will produce a different outcome.
Yes.
It has the possibility of producing a different outcome. I know,
Right.
I see, you're always like trying to make people feel okay for the way they think.
Yeah.
I want you to know it's okay that you think those thoughts. I'm always trying to, yes, and if you get here, it's a different universe. And the pileup of collecting that has a different result.
Agreed. And I do think that I am coming at it from a neurological perspective in many ways, because I do believe that alarmed aloneness, which is what I'm talking about here. When a part is dismissed, when we are dismissed, we
Yeah.
feel alone. We feel apart from, and it's scary. But when we can be heard, even if we aren't followed, we feel respected. And yes, I agree with you.
It releases it.
Yes.
It's that gaseous poisons that are released. And and we've been trained. Don't tell your stories outside. Get it together before you, as soon as, we've been trained. This is I know I was, let's put it that way. I know I was trained to not look, to wear the mask of being together. I was. Now, everyone has a different mask. Some people have masks of take care of me. And how can you take care of me if I'm together? So my mask is I need you to take care of me. Or I need to be taking care of others. Giving up my own self, that's the mask they're wearing.
Right. That's going to the external and dealing with anything else but what's going on inside of us. Absolutely. Yeah, I love that we have a similar, and I hope that this kind of thing gives people a different perspective, because not everyone is going to understand your perspective, and not everyone, God bless me, is going to understand mine,
Right.
or relate to it. But between the two of us, I feel like we do hit. I don't know if it's yin and yang. I don't know if it's uh, science versus spiritual. I don't know, but I do know that we do, first of all, respect each other, and we also really recognize that there are many sides to this. You and I come from different worlds in many ways, and different upbringings, as does everyone. And that's what I really love about the idea of we are each unique. And this is why this journey is so challenging. There is no cookie cutter for anyone. Each one of us gets to go, oh, that's a light bulb moment. I can hear this. I get this. That makes sense to me. And I want to apply that.
And we're talking these ideas, and we've seen results in ourselves, and we've seen results in people that that are taking that journey of looking at this in this way. So,
Agreed.
but we do have different, you're like, I see you as like, don't give up, people. We all have those ideas. You need to, hang in there, and you're you have so much you have so much empathy for the people just climbing in, who are just, oh, I don't know, I can't do it one more time. I can't do it one more. You have so much, which I do, but I feel like, okay. And when you're moved through a little bit, let's go. We can go. We can go. We have more work to do. And if you want to do take a deeper cut at it, even though I'm totally empathic, and I work with people who are back to square one all the time. We're always back to feeling like we're back to square one all the time. But it's the, accumulation of your own wisdom that you get from working through these things. But, we have little different takes. Does that make sense what I'm saying? The different.
Absolutely. Well, I know, because I've worked with you for so long now. I totally get it.
Like,
And
okay.
no, I love that I don't feel like I'm, Pollyanna on crack,
No.
but no. I know you don't think that either. But I do think that we each appeal to different aspects of a lot of different people, and that's why we mesh so well.
of where we are in the stages of where we are. It's like, I allow you to suffer because I think you're going to grow through the suffering too, or you have opportunity to.
Right.
When you're ready, let's go on the sled. Let's slide down this hill together.
Absolutely.
And you like want to encourage everybody, which I certainly don't want to discourage, and I'm not trying to discourage people, but I just know we'll work best at this point.
Well, and my hope
That's
is
what I'm
that,
saying. You won't
right.
hear me. You won't hear me. You'll hear me in the way I need to be heard to make it, to be helpful.
Right. No, I agree. I agree.
I have a bit of it too. I mean, when I was talking about all the today on a call, when we're talking about all the debt, I knew, oh boy, I know that's going to be people triggered because they have debt and they're going to hear what I'm saying. They're going to say that I heard people saying, I'm so bad, I have this debt, that's not my was not talking about. That's not my point, but I know how we work. We judge ourselves for what we judge ourselves on. And so when we hear somebody, it floats up what we hate about ourselves,
Yeah.
comes up.
We can't help but notice the negative aspects of things. That's part of living, because if we don't notice them, we would die. We could die based on just how our limbic system works. Our
It's
lizard.
also part of not wanting to bring it up because we empathize with, oh, I'm going to make someone feel bad because I'm doing this. And I don't
Right.
make anybody feel worse. We're trying to help people move through. We're not trying to make people feel worse.
Well, exactly. And that's why I think, I don't have a Pollyanna perspective. I do have a definite gift for
Yeah.
reframing. And I
Oh,
do
yeah.
have a definite gift for shifting the perspective so that we can look at this. I have no problem talking about the really crappy thing that just happened.
Yeah.
No problem whatsoever, which is can be a struggle for some. But what I do try to do is provide a different perspective, because that feels like an easier way. It's like trying to move a mountain with a spoon. You need the right tools. And if you can reframe a perspective on something and recognize, oh my gosh, you're right. I've been looking at this from a really critical, really self-effacing, really judgmental perspective. That's not helpful. It's sucking all of my energy that I could be using to move that frickin' mountain. And I can do that with the right tools. And that's what I feel like you and I both provide: practicality and authenticity and reality and a dose of truth.
And hearing it again from this angle and hearing it again from this angle. When we have this childlike belief that we're going to hear it and understand it, and nevermore, it won't come up in any other way. We're not being compassionate with ourselves when we think that. We'd say, hey, we're on this journey. It's coming in little by little, the wisdom.